Hollywood Studios' WGA strike endgame is to let the writers go broke before resuming talks in fall. I guess the question is, can the studios afford to wait that long themselves? Because, like, look at Disney's track record. The only movie they released this year that maybe made a profit was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Everything else was just losing them hundreds of millions of dollars. Their parks are in decline. Can the studios afford this as well? I say let them destroy each other. I hope both the studios and the woke employees end up taking each other out here. Nothing of value will be lost. But I'm not surprised this is their strategy, though. It makes perfect sense. Yeah, they know a lot of these guys. Like they won't be able to go months without work. Like, actually, shit. What about all of you listening right now? How many of you can go without being paid for like 3 months? Even a few weeks. Like, that's not something most people can do. So while these writers are striking, they're not making money. So yeah, the Hollywood studios, like, this is actually a pretty good plan. Yeah, this is like their strategy is to starve them out. It's a battle of attrition. Who can handle the losses the longest? They're both suffering some pretty heavy losses, but I'm thinking Hollywood, as bad as things are for them, if anything, I think that's why they're doing this. Because of how bad things are, if they want to try to turn things around, they're going to have to cut some bloat. So they're willing to play the long game here. Yeah, this is a case where both the writers and the Hollywood studios are in a fight for their survival. So neither of them is really going to back down, I don't think. Yeah, who will crack first? Exactly. And watch the Hollywood studios, they knew this was coming. I don't know how the film studios are handling it, but I know like Netflix, that they preemptively went and got a bunch of overseas shows and contracts to head this off. Like, the next Squid Game out of Korea is going to make us more money than, whatever these fuckers would make anyway. So who cares? Let them strike. Yeah, they've been using AI as well. So how does that work? Because if you have the AI do the writing and then you just have a quote unquote editor edit it, that doesn't count as being a scab, right? They have an update, exclusive, updated with AMPTP Statement. Regardless of whether SAG-AFTRA goes on strike this week, the studio has no intention of sitting down with the Writers Guild for several more months. Yeah. So that's another big thing. The actors, and I think at this point Hollywood is just pretty much committed to shutting down for a while. Like, you know what? Let's just everyone go away for like 3 months and reconvene in like September. We'll see who's left. So I think we're in it for a long strike. I think we're in for a long strike, and they're going to let it bleed out, said one industry veteran, intimate with the POV of studio CEOs. With the scribe strike now finishing its 71st day and the actors union just 30 hours from a possible labor action of its own, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers are planning to dig in hard this fall before even entertaining the idea of more talks with the WGA, I've learned. Not Halloween precisely, but late October for sure is the intention, says the top-tier producer close to the Carol Lombardini run AMPTP. While some dismiss this as just a cynical strike talk, studio and streamer sources around town confirmed the strategy. They also confirmed the plan to grind down the guild has long been in the works for a labor cycle, and that all sides agree is a game changer one way or another for Hollywood. Yeah, they knew this was coming. That's why they invested so heavily in foreign content. Because the studios, the streamers, they knew this was coming. They've been preparing for this. I'm quite sure the writers and the actors haven't, though. Where else are they going to go? Have they been branching out? Do they have other sources of income? So it's been agreed for months, even before the WJ went out. One executive said nobody wanted a strike, but everyone knew this was make or break. And once again, this might be wishful thinking. But I want both sides to be broken by this. I want both sides to be gone. That would just be an improvement. They're receiving positive feedback from Wall Street since WJ went on strike on May 2nd. Warner Bros. Discovery, Apple, Netflix, Amazon, Disney, Paramount, and others have become determined to break the WJ, as one studio executive blatantly put it. To do so, the studios and the AMPTP believe that by October, most writers will be running out of money after 5 months on the picket lines and no work. Most of them are probably already out of money. I don't know who's funding them at this point, but I can't imagine if they were just going off of their own reserves. I can't imagine they still have any of their own money left. So the end game is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses, a studio executive told Deadline. Acknowledging the cold as ice approach, several other sources reiterated the statement. One insider called it a cruel but necessary evil. Well, you could also say they started it. Like, they have the option to go back to work, right? If you're going to play a game of chicken like this with your employer, you better be willing for them to fight back. The studios and streamers next think financially strapped writers should go to the WGA leadership and demand they restart talks before what could be a very cold Christmas. In that context, the studio and streamers feel they would be in a position to dictate most of the terms of any possible deal, or they could just replace them all with AI. So the severe method comes out of the guild's successful battle with the agencies in current year -2 over dismantling lucrative practice of packaging. The WGA picked off one agency after another until the final holdout WME backed down, a tactic seen as a warning sign by many studios and streamer C-suites. Oh, I see what it is. So in this case, the studios saw the dirty way the union was fighting, and they realized, yeah, if we don't get down and dirty with them as well, if we don't fight as dirty as they are, we're going to lose. So yeah, that's a pretty smart move on their part. Yeah, you got to be willing to go down to the level your opponent's willing to go to, or else you're probably fucked. No, convinced that giving in, as another insider put it, to the riders will result in every contract cycle from the WGA, IA, TSE, and Teamsters, and more ending in a strike. The AMPTP is aiming for the bottom line. Once again, I hope they both lose. I want both sides to destroy each other. So please keep this up for years if you can. So publicly, the AMPTP are refuting the so-called October surprise. Yeah, they're going to hold off until November. Yeah, they'll hold off till November instead, just to stick it to them. So these anonymous people are not speaking on behalf of the AMPTP or member companies, who are committed to reaching a deal and getting industry back to work, a spokesperson for the organization says. Yeah, you think this might have been a leak by them just to scare the Writers Guild? I mean, I think it's a possibility that Hollywood leaks things intentionally all the time. I'm thinking that they actually had these people specifically talk to the media just to let the Writers Guild know, hey, these guys are planning to drag this out through October. So unless you're willing to be in for the long haul, you may want to get back to the negotiation room now. It's still, since the WGA called its first strike in 15 years in early May, there have been no discussions between the AMPTP and the Guild, despite persistent public Guild offers to meet. Sources close to the AMPTP insist there has been no direct offer from the WGA leadership to resume talks. So it's all just been public virtue signaling, but nothing important. All right. Still, as pickets went up and promotions and productions shut down in the strike's early weeks, studio bosses almost uniformly offered banal praise to the writers, but no public proposals to get them back to work. Well, it's not up to them. Look, it's not up to the studio heads. The writers are the ones that said, "Oh yeah, we're not coming back to work." I mean, they're welcome to stop. Like, they're welcome to come back. In the meantime, as network schedules shift to unscripted shows and streamers buy up foreign content, what'd I say? The studios and streamers have been saving money on shuttering productions and cost cutting. Oh, and then completely scrapping certain shows to use as a tax write-off. Yeah, when you see a show get pulled from a streaming service and disappear, yeah, they're basically destroying all traces of it just so they could write it off on taxes. That is a way to save money. So, on a parallel track for reinforcing the AMPTP's divide and conquer approach, negotiations with the Directors Guild in late May proved a success, with ratification coming last month. Even if the 160,000 member SAG-AFTRA joins the WGA on the picket lines, the studios hope to get the actors back to the negotiating table in a few weeks. A new SAG-AFTRA deal would not see a production restart, but could allow actors to promote projects already set for release. That's not as important as you might think, though. Yeah, it's no one really listens to him anymore, really. So a move that studios hoped would further the WGA going into the latter part of the year. WGA did not respond to a request for comment from Deadline, or if or when they do it, we will update this post. I guess they still haven't, huh?